All right, so we have reached the anonymous portion of the college football recruiting calendar and the college football preseason calendar, and I love it. And all it's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about what coaches have said anonymously about the upcoming year for the Oklahoma Sooners in the first installment of what I think is going to be a pretty interesting look into what coaches anonymously say about programs, and this all comes courtesy of Athlon Sports. It's one of my favorite things that they do in their preview magazine each year, and I encourage you to pick it up if you can, right? I go for the digital subscription because that's just me. Now, after some thinking about this, not too many of these are on. I'll just let you hear. All right, so the first one is the question of, was the 63-28 loss a sign of things to come? Talking about the Peach Bowl, LSU beating Oklahoma. One opponent does not think so. The quote is, their performance in the playoff game was a total aberration. I think any coach in this league would tell you that. Nothing about that game really matched up with the improvement they'd shown last year. I think the personnel killed them. Too many injuries and too many suspensions. Grinch did a phenomenal job with them last year up until that point. Don't judge them on that game. All right, so first, I think we got a clue there and talk about it in this league. It's a Big 12 coach or a former Big 12 coach. In the case of maybe perhaps a Matt Rule or even a Tom Herman or who knows who. But, I like knowing that there are people that believe that it was an aberration. And also, I think it's a very good point to make that Oklahoma was not completely healthy for that game and didn't have its best player on the defensive line for some in Ronnie Perkins, right? Because of the suspension. So you lose Delaire and Turner Yell, and you have to throw Justin Broyles back there, and that ain't what Justin Broyles does. Justin Broyles is getting exposed, so you throw Woody Washington back there, who's a true freshman, and that ain't what he does either because he's a corner. Add to that, you're playing musical chairs of a sort with your defensive line because Ronnie Perkins is a linchpin in it, and you can't play him. I get that. I also think that 63 points is still a lot of points. And while I think it's an aberration, Kansas State put up 48 on that defense as well. Iowa State put up 41 on that defense as well. When they played well, they were really good. When they played poorly, they were really bad. That's just the long and the short of it. So on the one hand, I agree with this. On the other hand, the facts are what the facts are, right? The next quote is coming from the angle of defensively, Oklahoma saw significant improvement under, of course, Alex Grinch. But was it enough to slow down Joe Burrow in the playoff if, they play up to what they're doing? The quote that follows this is, if you assume that Lincoln is automatic at finding ways to score points, you measure Oklahoma's quality by how long it will take Grinch to get them up to speed on defense. You have to consider them a conference title contender every single season. Lincoln has shown he's the real deal. And I think saying that they're a conference title contender every single season is actually missing the point. Oklahoma has won the last 5 consecutive Big 12 championships. All roads to the Big 12 championship run through Norman. So it's a little bit of an understatement because Oklahoma's just been that good, especially here of recent, but also in the history of this conference dating back to 95 when it was founded. Now, how long it takes Grinch to catch up, that's the question. Mike Stoops' defense seemed to sort of kind of catch up and then fall off completely, right? This is after getting exposed in 2012 when he first comes back, and Brent Venables is sent away or decides to leave of his own accord, according to him, and go to Clemson. And then we think that they're on their way back. 2015, 2016, no. 2017 showed us no, and 2018 showed us hell no. So Grinch also understands the build, but he is building, and he turned down head coaching jobs at Washington State for sure. The opportunities at Colorado and Michigan State to even be, considered for the job before saying, no, I got a job I want to get done here. And after putting a first rounder into the draft in his first year as a coordinator, and then watching his nose tackle get drafted in the 3rd round, yeah, I think he's got something, especially as he's recruiting just the guys that he wants, as opposed to what I think of as some of the best defenders in college football. I'm not sure about whether or not Oklahoma should be going harder at some of these top blue chip players, but he's certainly getting guys that seem to fit into the defense that he wants to run. And I don't really want to second guess him on this because of what he was able to do at Washington State, where they had a bunch of 2- and 3-star guys, and Hercules Mataafa, who was all 6'2", 254 pounds, who became an All-American defensive tackle. So it's clear that Grinch knows how to coach, and it's clear that his staff believes in what they're doing. We just got to see that bear out in the wash. And then there's a quote that is attributed to Barton Simmons about what Spencer Rattler could be that I find to be interesting. He said, I think Spencer Rattler is going to be the highest draft pick of any quarterback in the Big 12. And he's talking about on this list, the guys that we expect to be the starters, right? So of Sam Ehlinger, of Brock Purdy, Charlie Brewer, and the like, right? I also think this is a deep quarterback league, and I'm not ready to put that kind of expectation on Rattler in his first season as a starter. You're going to see some moments out of him that trump every quarterback in the league, but I'm envisioning a high bar to get inside the top 3. Right now, he's sitting at 4th, according to how Barton Simmons might rank the quarterbacks in this league. And I think that's fair. On talent, we would have one, but it ain't about talent right now. It's about what have you done at this level. Nobody's done more at this level right now in this league than Sam Ehlinger, right? And I get why people would believe that. Brock Purdy's getting close. I mean, as far as a pro, before Charlie Brewer got hurt, I thought he was the best pro prospect in this class. Now I'm starting to think that it's Brock Purdy. Based on 3,982 yards passing last year, set school records for passing touchdowns in the season with 27, and those passing yards were school record in a season, and he's very sure of himself. He's got an opportunity to be really good. And quite frankly, after you get past those 4 to Spencer Sanders, you're falling off, right? And I think that's also worth mentioning and figuring in. So nothing completely over the line about Oklahoma, but also I've always thought, what would folks that beat up on Oklahoma in recent years have to say? Like, I would always like to hear what an anonymous Kirby Smart might say about Oklahoma's defense, or what an anonymous Alabama might say about Oklahoma's offense, and on it goes. But I thought this was worth bringing to your attention. I really love the anonymous segments because in letting these coaches just talk, we learn more about these programs, and we learn more about what to expect from these programs. So we'll continue to go through these with a few select teams that I'm interested in, that I think you're interested in. But of course, we're going to start with there's only one. All right, that's it for me. There's